find a space, and we're going to come coming forward, arm circles, like this. We'll do 15 seconds each way. And change direction, we're going to go back. Awesome. 3, 2, 1. We're going to put our hands on top of our shoulders. We're going to imagine we're at the swimming pool, doing the front crawl, high elbows. Lovely. And back crawl, going back. Awesome. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring our arms forward and back, opening out that chest as our arms go back, alternating the arm that sits on top as our arms move forward. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're going to go snow angels, so above the head, looking at the floor, crossing those hands up top and up bottom. Good work. Excellent. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next one. We're going to squat down. We're going to reach up high onto those tiptoes. Warming our body up so that our muscles are a bit more elastic, a bit more stretchier. That's good. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so next one, lunges. We're going to twist over that bent knee, back to center, and then alternate the legs. Do it nice and slowly. Good. Do a couple more. Make the next one your last one. Lovely. So to walk out, so we can stand on one side of our mat, placing the hands on the floor, walking out into a high plank position, walk back, stand up nice and tall. Contract your glutes and your hamstrings at the back of the legs as we come into that high plank position. I'm going to do a few more. Make the next one your last one. Lovely, okay. So last week we added this like yoga-like, call it flow. So we're going to take it nice and slowly. We're going to do it a few times over so you can sort of get what's going on. So the first pose was the mountain pose. It's our starting position where we've got good posture. So what I want you to do is put your big toes together, have about an inch between the heels of your feet, shoulders back and down, abs tucked in, hips forward slightly, and your palms facing forward, okay? So we're just gonna hold this pose for 10 seconds before we go to the next one, which is the forward fold. So to do that, what we're gonna do, we're gonna inhale as we bring our arms overhead. When our hands meet at the top, we're gonna exhale to fold in half. So fold in half at the hips. Exhale as you do that. Inhale as you come up to a half lift. So we're going to push that chest forward. We can press our hands against our shins. And again, exhale as you go back down into the forward fold. Go a little bit deeper. And then we're going to inhale as we bring our arms over to the top. Exhaling to bring them back to the sides. That might be so really confusing. If you do it a couple more times, you might get the movement. Okay, so your big toes are together, mountain pose. Inhale, bring those arms overhead. Exhale, standing forward fold. Fold yourself in half without rounding the shoulders. Inhale, half lift. So half lift, I'll turn that way. Here, in this position. Exhale, getting deeper into that standing forward fold. And then inhale as we come back up. Exhale to bring our arms back down into that starting position. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. And each week I'll repeat it, and then by the time we get back to the gym in the studio, you'll be pros at this. Okay, so halo stance, not halo, mountain stance. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hit the hips, hinge at the hips, not rounding the shoulders. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, as we drop down back into that standing forward fold a little bit deeper. And then we inhale as we come up to the top. And then exhale back to the sides. Okay, I'm going to test you on that a bit later on in the session. Okay, we'll move on to the stretches now. So today's stretches, I've broken them down. So we've got sequences. So we're going to start off with the back sequence. Okay, so this is the back sequence, about to start. So what I want you to do, have your hands by your sides, nice and loose. And we're just going to twist like this for 30 seconds. Starting off the back sequence, twisting from side to side. So some of these stretches we haven't done before. Three, two, one. Okay, next one, bring your hands together. You're going to press them up towards the ceiling. Drop those shoulders down, the full body stretch. So push those palms up to the ceiling. Just hold that one there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so next one, you want to place your hands on your lower back, your fingertips downwards. And what you're going to do, you're going to press your back forward, your hips forward, as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. So try and bring your elbows together to really feel the squeeze. Three, two, one. A very basic one, the back rounding stretch. Round the shoulders, hands together, push those hands forward. Hold for another 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to get down into the tabletop position. So you should know this one. So it's the cat-cow stretches. So the cat stretch, we raise, we draw the belly button up towards the ceiling, keeping those arms straight, dropping the head down. 3, 2, 1, we reverse it. So we lift our head up, we drop that belly button down, squeeze in the back. 3, 2, 1, change. We'll do it a few times on each. 3, 2, 1, change. Raise that head. 3, 2, 1, change. 3, 2, 1, change. One more time. 3, 2, 1. So back into that tabletop position with a neutral back. We're going to roll into child pose. Keep those arms straight. Try and get that head to the floor, and then stretch your hands forward, feeling that stretch through the back. In 10 seconds, we're going to walk our hands to the right hand side of our body to feel the stretch in our left hand side. 3, 2, 1. So start walking those hands, one hand at a time. Find that stretch in your left hand side. Just hold. Hold for another 10 seconds. And then we'll walk to centre, past centre, to our left hand side to feel the stretch in the right hand side of the body. 3, 2, 1. Start walking those hands back to centre, past centre. Keep walking until you feel that stretch in your right hand side and hold. Seconds. We'll walk back to centre. 3, 2, 1. Walk your hands back to centre. Back into tabletop position. So we're going to transition now into some hips and bottom stretches. So we're going to start off with a low lunge. So from this tabletop position, I want you to bring your right foot in between your hands, like this. I want you to straighten up your back, and I want you to push your hips forward, okay? So you should feel this stretch in your left hips. We're just going to hold it here for about 20 seconds. Really push your hips forward, really overemphasize it. We're going to switch sides in 3, 2, 1. So we can put our hands back down, come back into that tabletop position. This time your left foot steps forward in between your hands. You bring your body upright, and now you're pushing so you can feel the stretch in your right side, your right hips. Again, we'll hold this for 20 seconds. And then we're going to switch side again, and we're just going to add something to the stretch. 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back down to the mat, back into the tabletop position. Switch those legs again, so your right foot in the middle of your hands, up into that low lunge position, pushing those hips forward. But now I want you to bring your right hand up above the head, and I want you to twist so that you are twisting to your sort of side where your leg is bent. So twist into your right hand side. In a better way of putting that. Feel that stretch in the sides, in your left hand side. Good. 3, 2, 1. Hands back down. Tabletop position. Left foot forward in between your hands. Low lunge position. Hips forward. Right hand in the air. Rotating or twisting to your left hand side to feel that stretch in the right. Good. 3, 2, 1. Hands back down onto your mat. Tabletop position again. So this time I want you to bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand, into this position, and I want you to bring your hips nice and low. Also known as a kind of a Spiderman stretch, stretching those hips. If you can, if you're really brave, you can try and get your forearms on the floor to really get deep into that stretch. No chance for me.
No, no.
Switch sides. So this time your left foot to the outside of your left hand, and sort of focus on drawing your hips so they're low, so you can feel the stretch in your inner legs. Again, if you want to attempt to bring your forearms to the floor, give it a go. Three, 2, 1. Back into the tabletop position. We're now going to do the pigeon stretch. Okay, so I find it easier starting in a plank position like this. Now bring your right knee to the back of your right hand. You might want to shift your foot a little bit so it's facing the wall, one of the walls, and then lean into that stretch. And now you can probably drop your forearms on this one. To feel this stretch more, and you should feel it in your right glute at the moment, you can drag your left leg, which is straight, a bit closer to the wall behind you. It's also known as a figure 4 stretch. Raise onto the hands, flip that leg back. This time your left knee goes to the back of your left hand. Again, you might want to shift your foot a little bit. Lean into that stretch. Place forearms on the floor. Hold it there. Again, you can shift your right leg, which is straight, behind you a bit more. Should feel this in your left glute. 3, 2, 1. Onto our hands. Tabletop position. Into plank. Then walk your hands back into a standing position. So we're going to now transition into an upper leg sequence. Now the next stretch always sends me into cramp half the time, so be careful with this one. So we do a lot of them in the class. We do a lot of butt kicks, but we're not going to make you do butt kicks. You're just going to do standing on one leg, draw one leg behind you, and then just keep changing between the two. I've got no idea why this always sends me into severe cramp. So take that heel as close to your bottom as you can. Keep changing sides. So with your arms, you can imagine you're running. These are called back kicks. Do a couple more. Good balance for this one as well. 3, 2, 1. Don't like that one. Okay, so the next one, standing quad stretch. Really simple, so you might want to hold on to the wall to keep balance. Bring your foot behind, hips forward. You can have a slight bend in the standing leg. Change sides. And if you want support, hold on to the wall if you've got good balance. Three, 2, 1. Okay, so the next one, it's called the half pyramid stretch. So feet together, you're going to step one leg back, you keep both legs straight, hands on your hips. And I want you to lean forward, like you're bowing, but go to the point where when you start to round your shoulders, you should stop. Try and get to about 45 degrees, keeping both legs straight. Just hold that stretch. And change sides. So step one leg back, the other leg back. And bow. It's 45 degrees without rounding shoulders or the back. Keep both legs straight. Three, 2, 1. Good. Next one's for your inner thighs. So you can have your legs really wide apart, but I want you to turn your feet inwards. Okay, keep the legs straight, feet inwards. What you're going to do, hands on your hips. Again, like that last stretch, we're going to go as far as we can. If we feel our shoulders are about to round, stop there. Some of you might be able to go as far as you'll be able to put your hands on the floor. But if I do that, that tends to round my shoulders, so I'm not quite there yet. Just go as far as you can. hold this for another 15 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, so we'll do some lying down hamstring stretch. If you haven't got a band or anything that can assist you with the stretch, just use your hands. It's absolutely fine. Do it like that. Well, I prefer doing it with a band, so I'm going to wrap it around my foot. We'll do the, well, you can choose whatever side you'd like to do first. Get that leg straight, and then put it back. We're going to hold each side for 30 seconds. It's good. Deep breaths. Don't forget to breathe whilst we stretch. Deep breaths. And as we blow out, you tend to try and take that stretch a little bit more. 3, 2, 1, and slowly bring that leg down, change sides. It's good. And then pull it back, keep that leg straight. This side feels a lot better for me. Another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that leg down nice and slowly. We're going to move on to a lower leg sequence. So we'll start standing up with this one. We want to get those ankles moving a little bit. So again, you might want to hold onto the wall. You can lift your foot off the floor. I'm just going to do some ankle circles. You might want to go different directions. And let's change sides. Lovely. Okay, so let's start stretching these ankles or calf muscles. So start with your feet together. I want you to step your right leg back. I want you to bend your right knee, keeping your left leg straight. And you can assist yourself with this one. You can place your hands on top of that straight leg. Just hold that stretch. If you want to get the stretch a bit more, bend a bit deeper. Lean forward a little bit more. And also lift your toes off the floor as well. Really, you get the hamstrings in here, but you want to try and incorporate the calf muscles as well. For another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step forward. Now your left foot steps back, your left knee bends, your right leg stays straight, and again, sink into that stretch. You'll feel the stretch in the hamstrings. Now lift your toes up, keeping that leg straight. Hold for another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. The next one's to stretch your Achilles. So feet hip width apart. We're simply going to lower down into a squat. We're going to keep going, all the way down. Now you can put your hands on the floor just for support if you haven't got good balance. Just hold it there. Hold for another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, lovely. So we're going to get into the plank position for the next one. What we're going to do, we've done this before, lots of times before, going into downward dog pose. So upside down V, hips high, like this. What we want you to do is to walk your legs. Okay, so as your knee drives, your right knee comes forward, your left foot straightens, and you try and get your heel on the floor. And you keep walking between the two. Good. Another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Come down into a tabletop position. And like our low lunge, what I want you to do is to bring your right foot in the middle of your hands. And what you're going to do, you're going to sweep your hands along the mat as you straighten your leg. And see, you can pull your toes back. Stretch the calf muscles. Find a comfortable position where you want to place your other hand. Three, 2, 1. Come back into the tabletop position. Your left foot into the middle of the mat or middle of your hands. Low lunge position, but as you come back, straighten that leg, grab your toes. Excellent, back into that tabletop position. What we're going to do, we're going to go into a high plank position. We're going to slowly lower ourselves down like we're doing a press up. Untuck your toes behind you, lift yourself into a cobra stretch. Seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's come up into a plank position. Walk your hands back. And we're going to try those sort of yoga flows again, just for practice. Got a couple of minutes to go. So it's the mountain pose. We did it at the start, toes together, big toes together. We'll have an inch between the heels of our feet, shoulders back and down, abs tucked in, hips forward slightly, palms facing forward. We're going to inhale as we bring our arms overhead. We're going to exhale as we fold in half into a standing forward fold. We're going to inhale to a half lift, exhale back down, and then inhale as we rise up, exhale down to the starting position. And that gets us ready to do it one more time. I'll do it side on for you guys as well. So inhale, arms overhead, exhale, forward fold. Try and keep your back straight and long. Exhale, standing half lift, pushing your chest forwards. Exhale, deepen stretch. Exhale, or inhale, sorry, as we stand up. Exhale, as we come with our hands together. And we've got 30 seconds to do it one more time. So, inhale, hands to the top. Exhale, standing forward fold. You can have your knees slightly bent for this one. Exhale, half lift. So inhale, exhale, down, And then inhale as we come up to the starting position. Bring your hands to your chest, give yourself a clap.